Welcome to JMR Talks. Today we'll discuss about great place to work. Some of us are already aware about the Gallup's study when they try to find out what makes a great place to work, what makes a great manager, in which connection they have interviewed millions and billions of executives, and based on which an excellent book titled First Break All the Rules was written, where they discuss about the 12 employment engagement questions, which creates an excellent, strong and vibrant work environment, and where people will give their best. What is so special about great place to work? A great place to work, provides an environment which improves worker productivity. Today, people are talking about great resignation, where scores of employees are leaving the organization, in search of green pastures. So, in such a kind of scenario, this great place to work helps to retain the talent. Today, we are talking about mental health. A great place to work ensures that people have mental health. They're not suffering from any such related problem. Now, why to talk about great workplace? At this juncture, the issue is about mental health and psychological safety. Thanks to the COVID, for the first time, the mental health related issues came to the front. Earlier, the emphasis was more on physical health, then providing psychological safety. So, in such a situation, creating a psychologically safe environment, an environment where people can come, without any fear of reprimand or punishment, and where there is a scope for lot of encouragement for doing a good work and all that, organizations will do extremely well. Now, to create such kind of environment where people feel secure, what is that needs to be done? Number one, we need leaders with empathy. But in today's context, mere empathy may not be sufficient. You need compassion. When we talk of empathy, you're talking about understanding the pain. But when you say compassionate, you're trying to alleviate the pain. Second, there must be support for expressing. The people should not have any kind of fear to voice their feelings, opinions, suggestions, and all that. The next thing is leaders and managers must be trained. As per Gallup's one of the survey, only 1 or 2 out of 5 managers are engaged. Now these are the people who get the work done from their employees. If the managers are not engaged, if they are not good in terms of people's management skill, how you expect the people to give their best? Today, managing employees is a challenge. Have we kept the leaders and managers ready to face these challenges? Trying to understand their behavior, trying to get the crucial insights so that accordingly they can be managed. Today, retention has become a big issue, and a great place to work helps to retain your talent. When you provide psychological safety, people are happy. They don't have any kind of fear as such. Good. A great place to work is really great. But what are those qualities of great place work? So that any company dreaming to become a great place work can try to inculcate or imbibe such things. Number one, these places are known for their culture of care. This is a place where employees are valued, and employees in turn they care for each other and also take care of their clients. Earlier we heard about inside out approach, but people like Dave Ulrich, they are talking about outside in. Not only your employees need to be taken care of, but you need to be aware of what your customers are expecting were. Gone are those days when the emphasis was on customer satisfaction or delight. Today we are talking about customer experience. Second, clear definition of success. Communication is the hallmark of management. We say that. Have we made clear to our staff, to our employees, what kind of skills they require to become successful? Number one. Secondly, have we provided enough training and development opportunities so that they can fully equip themselves to manage their clients? Next, embracing compass identity. That means the leadership is accessible. The communication is very clear. The policies, procedures are very transparent. The organization follows a culture of flexibility, encourages entrepreneurial mindset. Today we need people who not only come with their problems but also come with the solutions. You don't know. Sometimes an ordinary mind might come up with an extraordinary idea. Like some of you must have heard about that story in a Nirma soap case where an ordinary worker comes up with an idea of installing a pedestal fan against the point wherein the soap cover with the soap goes for packing. Non-compensation benefits. Milton Friedman used to say, money alone matters. Dhanam moolam vedam jagat. But today, the millennials, more than the compensation, they look for flexibility. They look for what I call career growth and all that. So, as an organization, are we taking care of those non-compensation benefits? And last but not the least, that does the organization stand for something more? Does its vision or mission induces or inspires people to give their best? Daniel Pink, in his great book The Drive, he mentions about three principal motivational elements: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy, freedom to the people to explore. Mastery, in terms of investing in their skills and all that, and the purpose. That's the purpose of the organization, is meaningful, mindful. Michael Bush, the CEO of Great Place to Work, wrote an excellent book called A Great Place to Work for All. You all must have heard about Great Place to Work Institute. That's a a global certificate institute. They deal with workplace culture. The certification issued is valid for 12 months, and the certification is done in US and more than 60 countries. Now, Michael Bush talks about what are those values and behaviors which every organization need to bring for thriving in the future. We are in a VUCA world. People have to give their best. Are we enabling them by creating such an environment? So what does an organization need to do? They need to respect their employees, be credible in approach, and be fair in their treatment. Provide enough opportunities to innovate. Okay, fine. But when we recruit people to create a great place to work, what are the precautions to be taken? Number one, recruit people who reflect the makeup of the organization. Today we are talking about diversity, we are talking about inclusion. Does our hiring, strategy takes care of that? It is said that obsolete technology is dangerous, but obsolete human resources is disastrous. So are we selecting the people who have learning mindset, the growth mindset? People are willing to work, learn. So in a VUCA environment of today, in a highly competitive environment of today, our nation need to provide psychological safety, create trust, provide autonomy, and provide purpose. When our nation does that, succeeds in creating great place to work, where people can come and freely express their opinions, and they're empowered, encouraged, energized, I'm sure they'll give their best to customers, creating customer experience. Thank you.